Is this just the start?
Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by the Obviously Lee Authentic channel. My name's Leah, that's spelled L-E-A and not L-E-A-H. And we're going to be talking about Married to Medicine Reunion Part 2. Y'all, this was a lot. I took, when I tell you, I got at least 6 or 7 pages full of notes. We gonna get into it. So basically it picks up where it left off. So we have Scott being shook that he heard from Quad as the women were talking on stage that Contessa filed for separation, and he was under the guise, I guess, that they were pulling it back, but he was a little shook that Quad was speaking. We also see Eugene ain't here for Quad, so we'll get to see them Quad versus Eugene part 3. So we continue, and it's Contessa is talking, and basically what we're realizing, or what I'm realizing, is that she feels like she's given everything she got for this relationship and it's not being reciprocated, and I think she's afraid to be by herself, or afraid to fracture her family and not have a happy ending for herself or for her kids. So Quad basically says, can you explain why you went to school in Tennessee? So basically saying that Contessa went to school in Tennessee mainly to have physical separation between Scott and her. So I guess they could miss each other or see what it would be like by herself. And also to prepare just in case they have to, just in case they get a divorce. So it's starting to make sense, because we were all well, girl, there's so many colleges in Atlanta or even in the state of Georgia. Why did you not just go to one of those? So it makes sense now why she was like, you know what? I'm taking my behind to Meharry in Tennessee, and I need a break. And we see she needs a break. So Scott comes on stage. The men is bro, you might want to get out there. Cecil oh, this bad. I don't think anybody realized how bad it was, because I could see the women on stage are visibly upset and crying. You got the men kind of yo, this is really bad. So to me, I think what happened was that maybe Scott and Contessa were this might have been a manufactured storyline, but then it got real. And I think that is why Scott has been acting the way he's been acting. He was whoa, I didn't know it was this serious, when he came up on stage. Because I think he didn't think that they were really, gonna go there with their relationship. But I think at this point, Contessa is just, she tired. And you could visibly see, in her face, she tired. The lady is tired. And y'all know I don't be seeing it for Contessa. But this episode gave me some more insight, and now I'm seeing why she reacts and acts the way she does when it comes to Scott. And it's because I think she's scared. She said, her relationship when the season was going on is stability, and we know she didn't grow up in a stable environment with her dad being on drugs. Her mom, I think, was dying of cancer or a very severe sickness, and it was just her and her 2 siblings taking care of her. So I legit think that she going through a lot, and I think she's scared that if she decides to leave Scott, then her kids might have the same thing that she had. And then they even alluded to Scott and Contessa had the conversation of separation with the kids, and they both were it was a horrible conversation. So I think that's also making her be I need to make sure I make the right decision for my marriage and for my family, so my kids aren't affected in a negative way like I was when it came to my parents. And I was just kind of dang, it made me feel for her, because I was just yo, she trying, and now I can see why she's so when it comes to Scott, because Scott don't be he speaks in riddles, and that gets annoying really quick, especially for me, a person that's I like hard facts. I was with Cecil. Cecil was I'm a data and facts guy, and the data and the facts ain't matching up, and I'm with that. I want you need to give me what I need, bro. Tell me what's going on. So Scott's sitting on the stage and all the ladies are asking him, like, Toya's like, are you being faithful in your marriage? And he's like, yes, I am. And then, you know, the ladies start asking, they're like, Contessa's like, what have I told you I needed from you for the past 16 years? And like, he was like, consistency. And she was like, and then Toya jumps in and she's like, therapy. And I don't get why he has such an aversion to therapy at this point. Like, you visibly see the woman you love or you claim to love is like, she's faltering. Like, you see her, she's in turmoil and pain. And you see how negative that conversation about separating affected your kids. Then maybe you need to find a way to make this relationship work. Because I do think, because I had not a conversation, but y'all know I love Erica De Niro TV. I love her channel. But she said she felt like it was violent that the women were encouraging Contessa to stay with Scott. And I knew she was going to feel that way. But I told her, like, on Twitter, I was like, I had mixed signals. I think the women are at this point where they're like, are you, like, Contessa keeps saying she don't want to leave. So I think at this point, they're just trying to be supportive. And even Heavenly, when all the women were in the back, were like, we just want you to be happy. And I think she keeps saying if her marriage is happy, she's happy. And it's like, it's just, I don't know. It just seemed like a lot. Because I definitely got what Erica's, the diva, had to say when she was like, why are y'all telling her to stick in a bad relationship? Because that is violent, because she seems to be hurting. But I think it's like Contessa kind of gives mixed signals as well as Scott. It's just they do it in a different way. Scott speaks in riddles, and then you have Contessa who, like, she buries her head in the sand and tries to, like, and like she said, fake it till she makes it. And I have never been an agreeance of that. Because that never anytime someone says fake it till they make it, it never works. You never make it. You just end up causing more problems and more issues for yourself. And that's honestly what's happened with Scott and Contessa. Because Contessa just says she feels like she's crazy. And I feel like she wants everyone to see what she's been going through with Scott. Because I don't think Scott is a bad dude, but I do think the way in which he is going about this situation is wrong, because it seems like he's just being, like, he's glazed over. Like, he's in denial. He doesn't want to talk about what's really going on. He's just like, everything's okay. And it's like, bro, y'all both came from very messed up situations. Like, even he said he had a messed up childhood, and Contessa had a messed up childhood. So it's two broken people who got together, who didn't do the work separately, and now y'all are trying to make it work, and it's not working. That's why I always say, like, if I ever get into a marriage, I want to be whole. I don't agree with that whole concept of, like, two halves making a whole, because that means you're missing something. Like, you're missing something, especially if you're two holes coming together. That just means you're making a bigger circle, which is great. Instead of, like, you missing something, I'm missing something, and we're putting it together, because I think that leads to codependency, and that's toxic. And even she said it's toxic. She said, like, when they fight, their fighting is very toxic, and, like, they both hit below the belt, and Contessa says she's just raw. And I think she does love Scott. I just think right now she just, like, she don't know what to do. And I think, like I keep saying, she's scared that she's going to leave this stable situation and go out on her own with her kids. And it's not going to be stable, and she's going to fail. And sometimes you just got to jump. I mean, that's easier said than done, because it's not yourself jumping, and you do have 3 children to consider. But I mean, your kids know when you're unhappy. So staying unhappy with their dad is not a very healthy relationship either. Like, they should both your kids should be able to see you happy and their dad happy and keep it moving. So then Heavenly asked Scott, because he's still sitting on the stage with the women, and she asked Scott, and she's like, why are there so many rumors? And Scott was like, there's not a lot of rumors. And Heavenly's like, yeah, they is, bruh. And he was like, show me the proof. And then you got Cecil and Eugene on the side, like, yo, he getting ate up there. They was like, flag on a play. flag on the plate, throwing the towel. They was like, can we take a break? Because you could see him getting ate up, and it was not, Scott was getting beat down. And then they continue, and then we see, let me make sure, y'all. So then they switch. So they take a break, and it was a lie. They take a break. So then we hear that clip of Contessa screaming, "I stop putting it all on me. I know she was like, I know I don't matter." And that hurt my feelings. Like, that hurt, because I was like, you do matter. That's why I told y'all in the beginning when I said Contessa always is doing stuff, like trying to figure out where she fits in, because I don't think she ever feels like she's enough. And it was confirmed for me when she said she didn't matter. And it's like, you do matter. And I think she's putting so much of emphasis on her kids and on the marriage. And it's like, I don't know if she knows what she is without that. And that's tragic, because you are more than what you are with being together and being a mom and being a wife. So, like, I'm hoping, because I remember I watched Watch What Happens Live, and it said that Scott and Contessa are in counseling. But I hope they continue to go through counseling, because that's a mess right there. Jackie, with her toxic positivity, was getting on my nerves, talking about you manifest what you attract. And I'm like, yes, but like, girl, sometimes you gotta let it go. Sometimes shit is just messed up. And being positive all the times does not help you. Like, that's really what toxic positivity is denial. Because you faking it till you make it is trash. Like, I want you to make it. Like, I want you to be real and make it. I don't want you to fake it and make it, because you never make it. Like, you just never do. So I was happy to see Toya consoling Contessa. Like, that's the one thing I love about Married to Medicine, and that is, like, these women have real relationships. They might not be like solid, like friendships, because we gonna get to that later, but they're real relationship. Like, it's a real group of people that actually care about each other. Yes, they have their issues. Yes, they have their rifts, and like, they go through things and they're petty and they can be mean to each other. But ultimately, I think everybody really loves and cares about each other. And I think that's what makes a good reality show, is when it's a group of friends and you get to see real, like, moments. Like Contessa having that moment where she's like, I love you to Jackie, but she was like, I'm tired of everybody putting it on me. And like, with Toya rubbing her thigh saying, can we get her some Tylenol? Simone saying, like, I wish you would have told us this sooner so we could beat her for you. Quad consoling her. Anila jumping in saying, you do matter. Heavenly saying, like, girl, like, we just want you to be happy, because we can tell you not happy. You keep breaking down. Excuse me. And then we see Toya and Contessa get up and they go and they have that bond. And then you see Quad, excuse me, y'all. We see Quad stop and see Scott, and she's like, I want y'all to work. Like, I'm always here for Team Midcalf. Like, I love you too, but this is a lot. So it's like everybody, like, legit cares for each other. And I think that's wonderful reality TV, because there's actual relationships. Excuse me, y'all. So then Contessa and Toya are having a conversation, and Toya basically like, girl, you need to take a break. Like, you really need to take a break. And Toya was like, Contessa's like, we've already taken a break. But Toya hit the nail on the head. She was like, you need to take a break until something changes. You taking breaks and coming back and nothing has changed is not very beneficial for you. And I was like, thank you. Because I was like, if you were taking that break in Tennessee, then sis, you should have stayed gone until he got his together. So then we get to Jackie versus Simone. And y'all, when I tell you, I teared up when Contessa said she doesn't matter. But when Jackie and Simone was crying, a little something dropped. I said, yeah. So we get to Jackie and Simone. basically they're in a better place, but they're not where they used to be. And I think that's natural. I hate that everybody has their foot in their business. Like Quad and Heavenly are so concerned with the relationship. Heavenly's like, I talk to Jackie every day. You don't do that no more. And it's like, things change, bro. Like, y'all's relationship, their relationship changed. So I don't understand why y'all just automatically expect that, like, once they hugged it out, they was just gonna get right back together. That would be fake. And I was glad Simone said, I don't get paid to make up with somebody and it's not real. Excuse me. Because I was just like, if she don't feel it, then y'all gonna be like she being fake. So then we have Simone basically saying like, Jackie's still upset because Jackie feels like Simone defends Toya for everything and explains everything. But when it came to her versus Buffy's ass, she didn't do that. And my thing is like, Jackie, you were wrong in the Buffy situation. Like, you were totally wrong. You had no right to out that lady having her infertility issues, especially if she did not want those to be broadcasted publicly or nationally on a TV show or in that little small setting. So when Buffy was coming at you and other people were coming at you, they had a right to. Like, that was wrong. And even if you were trying to make it an inspirational moment, it really wasn't. It could have been inspirational, but you need to check with the person first before you give away that type of information. So then Simone got in her feelings. Simone said, I came to you with no cameras, with no mic, and I told you that is not the Jackie I know, and you need to fix it because I know your heart. And I was like, girl, that should have been enough for you. I guess my thing is like, I don't get why you wanted her to defend you so vigorously when you were wrong, girl. Like, you were wrong, Jackie. Like, you were wrong. And she told you were wrong, but she also told you she knew who you were. So that should have been confirmation that, like, Simone had your back. I get it. You wanted her to have the same defense for you that Toya has. But, girl, that was a messed up situation. And then Quad is kind of taking Andy's job. And Quad was basically like, do you think you and Heavenly could ever get to the same place? And basically, Simone's like, it hurts. Like, I'm sensitive. You know, I call like Simone, like Heavenly invited Simone to her 50th birthday, but Simone was on call. And she was like, you did that 2 days before your birthday and you knew I was on call. And if you don't know what's on call, that means anytime that something goes down at the hospital, Simone has to be there. Like, she's the first person that gets called. So she probably was the primary doctor at that time. So anybody having like a baby or like checking on the kids was her job. Checking on the women was Simone's job. And then Simone says she does want to get back to a place with Heavenly. But Heavenly, like I said, Heavenly needs to work on her comments about people. Like, you always making digs at people, but then you're like, it's a joke, and it's not. Sometimes things can be a joke. Sometimes you can have fun shade. Even me and my sister have that, and me and my friends, like, we come at each other. But the way in which Heavenly be coming at the women on her YouTube channel, I don't know if I would want to be friends with her either. Because some of the stuff she say be cutting deep. And Simone was like, she always talking about my teeth, and I love my teeth. And I'm like, yeah, you can't keep going at somebody like that, Heavenly, and expect a relationship. But Heavenly said she's been trying, and Simone even acknowledged that Heavenly was trying. And Simone said once she gets to a point where she can let things go with Heavenly, she definitely wants to celebrate with her birthday with Quad and Jackie, and she wants to have a good time. So then it ends with the men. And basically, Scott on some BS. And Cecil and Eugene were the main ones calling it out, saying that, like, since they've been on TV, they be getting inappropriate stuff. I believe it. Because some women and some men can be thirsty as I don't know what. And basically, Eugene was like, if someone send you that stuff, I normally say, oh, don't send me that information, or I block them. And Cecil's like, you always want to block. Curtis and Scott was shaky. So, next episode, we going to get into it. It's gonna be more about Scott and Contessa. Then we're gonna see Eugene versus Quad. And yeah, I think it was a good episode. It was a lot. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I did tear up because I felt bad. I realized I teared up is because everybody, like even the men were like, oh, this is bad. Like they didn't know it was that bad. And I liked how Eugene told Scott and Contessa, like, you can lie to us, but don't lie to each other. And I think there seems to be a lot of lying to each other. And they need to fix that if they gonna continue to be together. But yeah, y'all, drop in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are and stuff like that. And remember to be bravely authentic. And I'm out. Deuces.